Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the very short introduction. Today, I hope to answer two questions in my presentation. What environment does the RSPO operate today, and how does RSPO operate in this environment? Today, ladies and gentlemen, RSPO has 723 members as of yesterday. And this membership base comes from over 50 countries. We now have some of the biggest and most recognizable organizations within our fold. Our most recent members include McDonald's, Citigroup, and Kraft. We now have an annual production of certified sustainable palm oil of more than 5.5 million tons. And this represents a production area of over 1 million hectares. This further represents something like 11% of global palm oil production. These 1 million hectares come from Malaysia, Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, Brazil, the Solomons, and Colombia. In a not too distant future, we will be welcoming certified sustainable palm oil producers from Thailand, Ghana, Nigeria, Liberia, Guatemala, Ecuador, into our fold. Some of you may think this is a modest achievement, but I invite you to consider the fact that it's only 3 years ago that the markets first received certified sustainable palm oil. And then compare this with the performance of sustainability standards for other commodities that have been established much longer. Overall, these are exciting times for the RSPO, but these are also challenging times as we get closer to market transformation, and the challenges will be stiffer, and we will have to pursue our agenda with even greater determination. One of our biggest challenges today is the market uptake of CSPO. Last year, the market uptake was 46% of the total production of certified sustainable palm oil. We are hopeful that this situation will be further improved by the fact that more companies are committed to a deadline for purchasing CSPO exclusively. And most of them have made a commitment to 2015. This situation may also improve with the further use of the RSPO trademark, which was launched last year. And I have to go back because I screwed up on the slides. There you go. To date, some 9 countries have applied to use the RSPO's trademark. This trademark can be the consumer face of CSPO and hence pull the supply chain faster towards market transformation. At this point, I'd like to thank WWF for coming up with a very useful tool that will help us understand the progress of our RSPO members with regards to the promotion of sustainable palm oil, something which they are obligated to do from day one of being an RSPO member. 2 markets that the RSPO will definitely need to see progress in: China and India. In China, we are seeing some inroads, and it is more than likely that 2012 will see the RSPO raise its profile in China in a significant way. The pushback we hear from many detractors they've all said that these big, more price-sensitive markets like China and India will continue to be safe haven for commodities where no questions are asked beyond the price. Is this really the case? Again, I screwed up on the slides. For how long will this be the case? This brings me to some research or a survey called GreenDex. GreenDex is a research project that tries to measure and monitor consumer progress towards environmentally sustainable consumption. They have surveyed 17,000 people across 17 countries. They have been doing it since 2008. In their last report, they have revealed some interesting points. And the first one is seen in this slide. When asked, unprompted, what was the most important issue facing their country, the Chinese cited the environment as their top issue. In fact, if you look at the trend from 2008 to 2010, you will see that the emerging economic powerhouses of China, India, and Russia are increasingly thinking about the environment as a serious issue, and it is now slowly but surely becoming top of the mind for a lot of these markets. The challenges from the production side of the spectrum can be split into two categories: RSPO implementation challenges in the new frontiers of palm oil, and RSPO challenges in the traditional palm oil producer countries. In the new frontiers, the RSPO faces the challenge of conducting an effective outreach program Our members are thinly spread in these new regions and therefore face severe constraints in reaching out to stakeholders. One way to deal with this has been to encourage organizing the regional RTs in these new regions. For example, Latin America will organize its third regional RT in March next year. It's in Ecuador. This follows a successful one by Brazil and Colombia in previous years. I would like to encourage the African region now to consider organizing such a regional RT. In the traditional producer countries, there is news of national sustainability standards for the industry. Thus far, Indonesia has launched their standards, RSPO, and Malaysians have the MPOB Code of Practice. I have no doubt, and again, I ended too early, I have no doubt that there will be more news that other standards for sustainable development will emerge. This is quite normal. Other commodities like coffee, tea, cocoa, banana, forestry, all have several sustainability-related standards. In fact, to date, according to at least one organization that tracks such things, there are 426 eco-labels found in 246 countries covering 25 industrial sectors. What does this tell us? It tells us that this is the trajectory that all consumption is headed to. They are headed towards greener or more sustainable production, leading to a greener and more sustainable consumption. What does RSPO do with these emerging standards? Firstly, the RSPO looks at the mandatory standards in Indonesia as complementary to its own activities. It adds clarity, it gives RSPO clarity in terms of the legal requirements for the sector. Secondly, we think the Indonesian initiative will bring greater awareness and capacity building for the whole industry on the subject of sustainability. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we should clearly state that RSPO's success will not be reliant on the demise of other standards for the sector. Why should it? The RSPO will continue forward on focusing on its own unique proposition. We will continue to engage our multiple stakeholders in an open and transparent manner. We will focus on bringing them in from the very beginning of policy making and standards development. We will continue to uphold the process of consensus building amongst our stakeholders. We will continue to remain relevant by keeping our standards credible and robust. This is highly important, as we all know that the real value of the RSPO for each of its stakeholders lies in its credibility and integrity. At this point, I would like to remind all that the RSPO will be reviewing its principles and criteria in 2012. It's imperative that all stakeholders within the membership consider themselves as co-drivers of this review. The RSPO designs processes to ensure balanced participation of all membership categories. And I would like to reiterate that the group tasked with the review of the principles and criteria will be making decisions through consensus. In the RSPO, we conclude that a consensus is reached if there are no serious and sustained objections. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. The RSPO is designed as a vehicle that allows as many co-drivers as is needed. The speed in which this vehicle travels on is entirely dependent on the quality of the drivers and certainly not on the quantity. Thank you very much.